Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Sandra. 大家好，你们好吗？Last but not least, as always, 欢迎。Welcome to Community Mandarin. Today, as the title suggests, we are going to be talking about classifiers. Yeah, well, as I personally like to call it, measure words. I just think it's a very direct way to call it. So, regardless, in Chinese, in Mandarin, whether you'd like to call it classifiers or measure words in English, in Mandarin, it is called 量词. Okay, so without further ado, let's take a look at one of the most difficult aspects I personally think in Mandarin, 量词. Classifiers in Mandarin, 汉语中的量词. Alright, first let's look at this. So how do we use classifier or measure words, 量词? In English, if you want to say one person, you say one person, right? But in Mandarin, you can't just say one person. You have to say one entity of person. So 量词 is that specific thing that I think only among the languages I am familiar with, it's the only, only in Mandarin we have this thing called measure word or classifier. It goes in between the numbers, the numeral word, and the noun. And think of this English phrase. If you say a pair of shoes, so that pair part served as a classifier, a measure word, 量词. But in English language, we don't always have it when we're talking about something, an object or a human. But in Chinese, we always have to follow the rules like you see on screen, numeral word plus classifier, measure word, or 量词, and noun. All right. Now let's take a look at some of the most commonly used 量词 in Mandarin. So the first one is this one. We've talked about this before, but there's no harm to reinforce this one again because that's your go-to 量词. That's I would say, the most commonly used one in Mandarin language. So 个. Like I said, we use that to describe people, a lot of subjects. And as you can see, fruit, package, month, week, plan, agenda, reason. So I would say 个 is the most widely used one. So if you are a beginning learner in Mandarin and you are not sure which classifier, which measure word to go to when you want to talk about an object, when you want to talk about something, then my suggestion would be to try 个. It might not be correct in some cases, but I would say most of the audience would understand what you're trying to say. So first, let's learn this one. 个. It's the number one widely used measure word in Mandarin. And we have some phrases. Read after me. 请跟我读 the first one, 3个月 3 month. The second one, 一个老师 one teacher. See, in English you say one teacher, but in Chinese technically we're saying one entity of teacher. And the next one, 5个星期 星期 is not a new word either. We've learned this one before. 5 weeks. Next one, 20个学生 20个学生 学生 is students, so 20 students. Yeah, if you want to use a measure word, probably it's a good idea to review your numbers because measure words always go with numbers. Next up, we have 100个人 I believe everybody remember what is 人, but what is 100? 100 is 100. 100个人, 100 people. Last but not least, 21个名字. 名字 is not a new word either. 名字 is name. So 21个名字. 21 names. Okay, let's move on. Over here, we see 一个计划. 计划 means plan. So as you can see, 个 is not only just for specific, I would say human or objects. It's also for stuff that does not have a physical entity, like 一个计划. And as well as 一个想法. 想法, as you can guess, 想法 means idea. So 一个想法 an idea. And this one, 五个柠檬. 柠檬 means lemon. We will have a lecture on fruits, I promise you guys, in the very, very near future. But I would say lemon is the easy one because lemon is what Chinese people would consider a foreign word. Basically, what we did is we took the English pronunciation of lemon and we found two similar pronounced Chinese characters, 柠檬, to represent lemon. So, 柠檬, 请跟我读, 柠檬. And we say 五个柠檬. So, there you go. For your fruits, we use 个 as the classifier. 五个柠檬, what does that mean? 5 lemons. And the next one. 六个鸡蛋. 六个鸡蛋. 鸡蛋 is not a new word either. We've learned this one. 鸡蛋, chicken's egg. So basically egg. 六个鸡蛋. As suggested in the picture, 6 eggs. So now you know your eggs. We use the classifier 个 again. 三个饺子. We've learned this a week before. For dumplings, we use 个 as well. 3 dumplings. 三个饺子. And we still have a little bit of time, so let's learn some other commonly used classifiers. So this one is 位. 位. 位 is I would say, is the respective form of 个, but 位 is usually used on humans. So over here we have an example. 一位科学家. 一位科学家. Since the picture is Einstein, so maybe you can guess what is 科学家. If you can't, let me tell you. 科学家 means scientist. So if we wanna describe someone with a higher socioeconomic state or someone you respect, or you want to talk about someone in a formal or in a more respectful fashion, we can use 位 instead of 个 as your measure word. So 一位科学家, a scientist. And the next one, let's look at this one. 朵. 朵 is the 量词 is the measure word for flowers or flower-like things. So the first one we can see over here, 一朵花. 一朵花. 花 means flower. So if we want to say one flower, we need to say 一朵花 instead of 一花, which is a very common mistake that first learners in Mandarin would make. And what else flower-like objects we're talking about? As you can see from here, 一朵云, clouds. Clouds kind of have that vague flowerish shape. So, of course, we go with 朵, the classifier for flower-like things. So, 一朵云, one cloud, a cloud. Next up, we say 几朵云. 几 means how many. So, how many clouds? Good. From that picture, you really can tell. All right, next up. 三朵棉花，棉花 as you can see. It used the word 花 so it of course it's flower like. 棉花 means cotton. So 三朵棉花 three cottons. And this one 一朵花椰菜，花椰菜 means broccoli. So it, of course, it looks like flowers. And again, it used the Chinese word 花 in there to show you it looks like flower. So 一朵花椰菜 we go with the 量词朵. And next up, 知 is another very, very commonly used classifiers as well, and it's usually used to describe small size animals or containers. I like to tell my students it's usually to describe small or medium sized animals, and of course everybody's opinion on what is small size or big size animals differs. But first let's look at this picture, this example. 三只猫，猫 as you can see from picture means cat. And then I think we've learned it from the pet section. But okay, 三只猫 three cat. Three cats. Pardon my English. And this one, 两只蜜蜂，两只蜜蜂。蜜蜂 means bees. So it's technically an insect, so but also we still use 只 the 量词 to describe small or medium-sized animals. 两只蜜蜂 two bees. And of course, it is worth mentioning that when combining with classifiers, we use 两 instead of r to refer to the number 2. So when we're counting, we would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if we are going to talk about how many items of something, when we're using a pattern like that, when we're combining it with a classifier or a measure word, we go with 两 instead of r. Okay. All right, so that's it for today. Of course, we have numerous, or we have quite, I would say hundreds at least, measure words, 量词 in Chinese language, and of course we can't cover them all in one session of the community Mandarin lessons, or even 2, or even 5. So today we just went through some I would consider the most commonly used ones, and in the future, if we have time, we will of course talk about some more when we are a little bit advanced in learning Mandarin. So before we say goodbye, as always, 谢谢. Thank you for tuning in, guys. And I encourage you guys to visit our website, which is scrolling down on the screen. And before we see each other again, 再见.